Hey guys, this is going to Carrot here with another Exos Heroes video. I want to talk about the Black FATECORES. We've been having a lot of talk about what to pull for, what not to pull for. Potentially talking a lot about general characters and how I'm saying I'm only going to really pull for generals. At this point, pretty much skipping a lot of the Black FATECORES, but it got me thinking about how there's a lot of Black FATECORES that are actually really good, and I wanted to highlight the Black FATECORES that you should be excited for, because a lot of times per month you have guaranteed times to actually get a FATECORE, and more often than not, like way more often than not, it's going to be a Black FATECORE. So which ones are we actually hoping to get? So you can be like, okay, dope, I actually got a really good character here. Let's get into the list. First character on the list that I'm just going to start with my favorite. My absolute favorite Black FATECORE is going to be Annie. And what I really like about her is just how versatile the character is, how you can use her with anyone and she's going to be good. You know, there's classic pairings between her and Rara that's the most popular, but that's what's so cool about her kit is that here's her passive, is that grants 1 LA, except the caster with the fastest attack speed, damage immunity, and 300% increase in critical hit for 2 turns, and gain 3 mana every round. Amazing for PvE, amazing for PvP. It's just, and I like the creative options you can have with something like this. I've thought of different ways to do it. Normally, the best, I just slap on Rara on the team and then you're good to go. But a lot of times, I mean, like, let's say for Dragon and it's a different type, I've tried, really slow teams and made Bathory my fastest, for example, and gave her the extra mana. There's just a lot of cool things you can do with it, and that's what I really like about Annie. And then herself, just on her own, when it comes to her other moves, like, she hits just as hard as Bathory does. Yes, I have a lot more invested into Bathory, so nowadays Bathory's hitting way harder, but if I actually got her on the same level, like, she has the same move here on her A2. So you look at that, Leviathan 357% damage to all enemies, burst, they're both mana utilization characters. So very good character. Ever since I pulled her, she's pretty much always been in my roster. So a very good character. Then next on the list, let's talk about, and then this is in no particular order. I just wanted to start with Annie because she's my favorite. Okay. And then Brooke here is another good option. And I'm going to combine these with like the damage dealer ones. So we got Brooke, Diva, and Adams, I would say, are like the premier Black FATECORE damage dealers. And they've really, well, let's talk about Diva and Brooke because they're both in a very rare category of Dragon Hunter Blessing. So they're going to do good damage on Friday, Saturday in phase 2. So if you want to get through that phase quickly, so a Diva or Brooke on here, but let's look at why they're good. They have very simple kits, but look at just the damage. It's a 4 mana burst move with 750% damage to one enemy. Just completely annihilate someone. Then you add that on with Signature Force, does absolutely insane damage. Same with Diva. And what's cool about Diva, so she has a couple things going for her that I wanted to talk about. So tons of damage, 700% damage to one enemy on a 5 mana move. So with Signature Force, going to hit like an absolute truck. But she has this move here, which is a 2 mana, damage all enemies, resets turn if target dies. So with Signature Force is going to hit very hard. She's a very fast character. But if we look down here in her, if you actually get her Unleash Potential for that move, it's going to flick Bind. And I would say her, Dorka, Rara, only in combination with Annie, are going to be some of the only characters that can hit that bind right off the bat like that. And that's an amazing way to start like PvP matches. So definitely keep that in mind, especially if you've really invested in Janai's Signature Force. She's going to be a really good character that you're going to want to pull. And I see that a lot in top in arena still. So very good character. So both of these are very good characters. Kits are pretty simple, so just kind of covering them pretty quickly. Okay, next we have FC Ramj. And I think this character needs to get probably talked about more, just how useful he is, because he's so unique in what he can do. And what that is he has this Nullify Heal. And Nullify Heal, I believe he's the only one. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments if he's not, but I believe he's the only one, or he's the only good one that has it. It's just such a rare move to have. And at first, no one really cared. It was like, okay, you can stop healing. What a big deal. But there's so much content, especially this content here for Trials, Path to Trials, that content that requires a reduction of healing, or doesn't require it. You can brute force it, but it makes it so much easier to do if you have nullify heal, and that's what makes Ram so good. And then why I'm talking about the Black FATECORE version of him is because he gets that much better because he was one of the Dragon Blood characters, or technically First Guardian characters. So he has that First Guardian passive, which is amazing. Or he's actually pretty versatile because he has this other FATECORE here that you could throw on that I think has potential to be very good. It's just one of those, it's a nice like tool in the tool belt if you ever need this, because it's pretty unique actually. So here, let me throw it on, where it changes his passive. So he loses the First Guardian passive, but he gets this Chain of Silence here, where it activates at the back row first if enemy gains 22 mana. So if they have 22 mana, he's going to silences back row enemies with Fear of the Abyss mark for 7 turns. Removed by basic attacks, activated once in battle. So potential, since it's so unique and so impactful if it ever goes off, if mana gain in back row ever becomes like a big deal, he could potentially be a way to solve this. Or if there's any PvE content where it's like, oh, okay, they have a terrifying back row that does a ton of damage, but okay, silencing him is going to be the way to go here. So it's something to keep in mind. And then you get the same benefits of his Nullify Heal. It doesn't change his actual moves here. So very good. And for the most part, I think just the Dragon Blood character version of him, or the First Guardian character, is going to be the way to go. But you can't go wrong with either. Can't even go wrong with just having Ramj. Just getting Ramj, I think, is a really important thing to do on a lot of early to mid-game players. It's really going to come in clutch for Sunday challenges, for Path of Trials later down the line. I think he's going to be a key answer in the arena meta to come, especially when Dorka gets her FATECORE. Because I feel like she's already a really good character, but she's like a ticking time bomb of being absolutely meta-defining the second she gets her FATECORE. So, yeah, that's my prediction, but at the same time, he's going to be an answer to that. So, okay. Now we got that. Let's talk about the last couple honorable mentions / like just good FATECORE characters. You can't go wrong with almost any First Guardian character. Black FATECORE or not, Anastasia is still very good. If anything, she should be on the list. She's just a really good character. First Guardian passive is just so hard to ignore on her, especially with the healing. I've started to appreciate this kind of healing, just the big burst healing, more so than the revives like from Lepin. Now that health pools have gotten so much bigger, has really directly buffed healing, and is also survivability is just at an all-time high, whereas it was getting to the point where you were just getting one shot in a lot of content, whereas now we're surviving, we just need to heal through it. So she's kind of come back on my radar. And FC Magi has always been one of my favorites. Low-key, never expected her to be as good as she is, but she's just so useful when it comes to Dragon. And having Dragonite Blessing and Head Dragonite has been a really nice combination. I try to give her as much praise as possible, because she has the 3 passives you really like, especially when it comes to Dragon. She has Dragon Blood, awesome. She has Dragon Night Blessing, and she has Head Dragonite. So really clutch, very versatile. So very good Black FATECORE to have. Don't sleep on her. The one thing I don't like about her is this move does like negative damage, doesn't hit at all. Even in phase 2 when she's supposed to do amplified damage, it barely hits. And this move here actually does hit pretty hard, a 3-mana burst. It looks like it doesn't hit that hard, but it does, because it's a burst move. It has a low modifier, so it's not going to nuke someone, but it hits solidly hard, especially if you have the signature force for it. Okay. Now, I didn't talk about Adams. Let me talk about Adams. I'm a massive fan of the Heartstrike passive. So my favorite one is Tantalo, but he doesn't count for this list because he's a gold FATECORE. But he's my second favorite, or Jin's up there too, but he's also gold. So he's nice because he's unique in the sense that he is a lunar character, and that's just hard to find, let alone a good one and a single target damage dealer. A lot of these lunar characters are these, you got Ramj, who's not really, he's not filling that role. You got Shufraken, who's more so a tank and then has his passive, so you're stacking defense on him. So Adams is nice because he's like the only lunar character that I like that does a ton of damage. And he has the Heartstrike passive. I love this passive. based on the enemy max health. So it's like whoever has the most health is going to get the first level of Heart Strike. Then level 2 is going to be decreases defense by 1,000. And then Heart Strike level 3 is deals 200% damage to all enemies upon activation. Afflicts targets with blind, deals 2,000 damage to targets every turn. I've been really using this in trials. Like I must be on like one of the last stages of trials, but a lot of times it's hard to get rid of the mobs. Like I'll kill someone, and then what happens is you're just killing the people that get stacked by the Heart Strike passive. So it's just such a good passive for being able to handle content like that. It handles First Guardian characters. It's like a direct counter to them. Being able to reduce their defense means that the defense they're using to stack is not as high. One thing though, with all the Signature Force and Unleashed potential that's going around, the Heart Strike passive is losing a lot of its viability. Not a lot of its viability, but it's not as good as it used to be, because 1,000 defense used to mean almost all of someone's defense. Whereas nowadays, if we look here, oh, let's just look at a character. Look, 3,500. Okay, barely even makes a dent. Barely even makes a dent of Bathory's defense. Let's look at, Tantalo. Okay, barely going to notice that. So that is one knock on the Heart Strike passive that's happening, is that stat totals are going up, so its impact is being felt less and less. Still a good passive due to the blind, and just its nature of how it applies, where you don't have to do anything. You don't have to use a move just to apply it. It's already applied, and you just have to hit them with those characters. So still very good. Is there anyone else? And I think that's it with my list. I do like Hecken, but I've seen use from him. I haven't really invested in him too much, so I want to test more to really see how good he is. But I do like how he's a focus fire character. Focus fire characters are very fast, and he has a Heart Strike passive. He does a lot of damage with this piercing to all damage to all enemies. It's essentially, see this 249 piercing. Let's look at Dorka here. 360. Okay, so this is always gonna do more damage, but it's kind of on the level of a very hard-hitting move here, but to all enemies. So potentially a very hard-hitting character. So that's going to be it for my list on Black FATECORES. Like I've been saying at the end of every one of my videos, if you're looking for an emulator, be sure to download LD Player, link down in the description. Also, very active Discord if you want to join that. Lastly, a like on the video would be very appreciated. That's the best way to help out the channel, is hitting the like button for the algorithm. And with that, guys, I am out. Peace.